Ashley, do you want to go ahead and take it away?
Sure, I'll just do a quick intro. I am the CFO, COO of Consero Global. I was actually a customer of Consero, so I am a SIMPL super user. I loved SIMPL when I was a customer, loved the whole company, which is why when I got the call, I picked up. I'm very excited to be here. I use SIMPL every day. Not a huge fan of intact reporting, so really excited to talk about my favorite thing, SIMPL. Jeff?
Yeah, and then sorry, I'm the SIMPL product manager. So what I'll be going through today is just giving you a quick highlight of some new UI that we've actually released to the platform. So that's why I wanted to go through some highlights, and then I'm going to hand it over to Ashley, and she'll be going through some of kind of the key functionality that she likes to use in SIMPL. So that's what we're hoping to highlight for you guys today. And just wanted to call out some of the new functionality that we released with this new exciting UI that we've released to SIMPL. So first thing that I want to call out is the SSO functionality that we've incorporated into the platform. So we've always had the capability of signing in with Google and Microsoft. We've actually just released the ability to utilize Okta as well. So if you guys are using Okta internally for single sign-on capabilities, that'll be an option for logging into SIMPL as well. But the really exciting thing is going to come once I click log in here. And the first thing that you guys will see that's brand new to SIMPL is this recent entities feature here. So previously you would have clicked the drop down, select the entity that you want to navigate to in SIMPL. Now we're going to be storing recent entities. And so I can quickly access Pied Piper, click go. And then as you guys will see when I log in here, we're going to have a completely new modernized UI in the landing page of SIMPL. So totally different look and feel. And we're hoping that you guys are really excited about this in terms of putting to-dos and notices at the top here, making them more accessible to understand what tasks you need to take when you log into SIMPL. And then just really, like I said, modernizing the look and feel of the charts and graphs that we're incorporating on the landing page of the SIMPL UI. So a little bit more up to date and exciting look and feel when you log in. The next major highlight is going to be the left-hand navigation. So we've completely reconfigured how you can navigate through SIMPL. And what we've done is taken, essentially what was happening is as we were adding new features to SIMPL, we were getting exhaustive on the kind of the real estate that we had on the left-hand side. And so what we wanted to do was roll up everything into different themes and then provide the ability to expand and collapse different submenu items based on the overall theme or what area of SIMPL that was referencing. So for example, we look at cash flow here, I can expand on the cash flow option, and that's going to give me the option of either looking at the cash insights dashboard or drilling down into cash transaction details. And so when we're thinking about cash flow in SIMPL, instead of these being two different pages on the left-hand side that I'm trying to kind of figure out where everything is, we've rolled everything up and provided easy navigation between the different areas. Same thing would apply when it comes to like spend management, for example. I can look at AP insights or my AP aging, as opposed to these being two different pages, all the way down to financial reporting. When I click to expand on financial reporting, this is where everything from a month-end financial perspective is going to live. We have our interactive financials in SIMPL, draft financials, detailed P&L transactions reports. And then if you have any custom reporting that the Consero team is delivering on a monthly basis, that would all roll up into this menu option. So really excited about this functionality because it's going to make navigating through SIMPL even easier than it was before. And then the other thing that I want to show is really trying to call out if you need assistance or you need to get in touch with your Consero team, trying to highlight the boxes that we have down here at the bottom. So it's very easy to submit a request to your Consero team just by clicking that link. That'll send an email directly to your accounting team. If there's an after hours support request that you have that really needs to be handled urgently, you can click the button here and that'll send the request to the team. Or even if there's a new feature enhancement request that you have for SIMPL, we can use this submit a feature request button down at the bottom, and that's going to go directly to me and my team. So if there's something new or something that you're trying to find in SIMPL that you think should be here, this directly drives our roadmap and our development backlog. So we're always happy to receive feedback from our clients on any new either reports, widgets, any new features that you'd like to see. So that covers kind of the overall landing page, navigation, and then as you kind of saw when we're looking at things like the dashboards in SIMPL, really just trying to upgrade the overall look and feel with the UI. So you can see, updated some of the color schemes here, made the graphs more interactive. And then last but not least, in terms of the UI upgrades that we've made, I wanted to take some time and go through the new payment functionality. And so one thing that we did was completely reconfigure the way that clients go through and approve and pay vendor bills with our integration to bill.com. So previously, everything was kind of handled at the top of the screen in terms of selecting bills to pay and everything. But what we've done here is really change the flow from a top left to bottom right approach. And so if I'm looking at vendors, outstanding bills to pay, I can review details like the GL that this is going to get booked to, the account description there, department, and then all the details for this particular invoice before I click to pay. And then obviously if I need to look into more details, I can click into the bill number. But then the idea here is I can select bills to pay. And then as I get to the bottom, I can choose the bank account that I want to pay out of, the actual date that I want these bills to process. So if I want to go ahead and get these out of my queue today, but I don't want the payment to actually go out until the 27th, I can make that selection and then click to pay. So really trying to improve the overall flow of the payment process. So yeah, happy to share those highlights. Hope you guys get into SIMPL a little bit more and get to experience and check out the new UI, provide any feedback that you have. With that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Ashley and she can start walking you through how she uses SIMPL on a day-to-day basis.
Sure. Thank you, Jeff. So I just want to talk to you guys about my view from a customer perspective, but then I'm actually kind of a current customer, right? Because Consero eats their own dog food, right? So we are on SIMPL, although I'm showing you my demo instance. So the first thing whenever I come in here is obviously these to-dos and notices. Anybody who used SIMPL appreciates these. If we think about what SIMPL at its core is trying to do, it's really trying to make it so that customers don't have to be in, 5 systems a day. Even like, I mean, obviously I have way too many tabs in my Chrome open, but you'll notice I don't have bill.com open. I don't have Nexonia open. I don't have Intact open. To be blatantly honest, I'm not even sure what my Intact login is at this point because I really just go through SIMPL. So in here, it means I can ignore any of my emails from bill.com. I can ignore my emails from Nexonia because I can come right in here and approve. This tells me what I need to do. Go in, review my bills. I can actually click on and see my bills. And see who's already approved it. That's one of my favorite things to do when I look at, say, I look through it. Did people just on my internal finance team review this, or did someone in the business review it, which is one of our rules. You can't just have finance approve it because we need someone from the business to approve that, right? So I can go in and say, okay, Vinay approved this, or it's waiting for Vinay's approval. And so that gives me more comfort that someone from the business has viewed these. So I'm always, that's the first place I land. My overviews, I usually tick off the to-dos, the bills, the expenses, because those are kind of the more annoying things to do. Where I spend most of my time after I kind of check off my to-dos is in the financial reporting. So in my past, I've used QuickBooks, NetSuite, Intact. Honestly, I actually find the reporting in QuickBooks the easiest of all the GLs, but most GLs I think are really hard to do reporting in. I remember when I first implemented NetSuite, I actually signed up for a 3-day reporting class and spent 3 days sitting with like people teaching me how to build NetSuite reports, and I still couldn't do it because if you want revenue, there's literally 50 revenues to pick from, and it's like, which one's the right one? So I find it very difficult to build reports in those systems. And then when you look at the income statement, it's usually your entire GL, right? Like it's your entire chart of accounts. If you want to look by department, it's chart of accounts by department. So it's hard for me to navigate being that I am not a super user of Intact. So I love the IFR here because I come in, I can see my financials by department or by category. One thing I think that Consero does that is very, very smart is they don't have COGS as a chart of account, they have it as a department. So, you know, if COGS is in your GL, then you have to have like a double chart of accounts, right? Because you have to have salaries and salaries COGS. You have to have contractors and contractor COGS in your actual chart of accounts. So Consero doesn't do that, which means that this reporting is really nice because you look at category and you have salaries, contractors, T&E, you have all of that for all of your departments. And so you can see this by category or by department. And you can drill into it. Like here, you know, May actual versus budget. Man, my sales was way higher than budget. Usually there's comments in here from your team, but you can also drill in and you can see what changed in sales and marketing, right? Like what's bigger? Oh, my T&E was huge in May. And you can kind of drill in and see the things that are happening. Was it lodging? Was it meals? Was it airfare? And so that's where I spend most of my time. And then the other thing I really like about SIMPL is you can give people access to it. So for instance, I think when you don't have SIMPL, a lot of times you're downloading reports from Intact, reformatting them and sending them to department heads. Your head of marketing wants to know how much of my budget have I used? How much do I have left? Or, you know, maybe a GM of one of your business units is like, how am I doing on that? So we have this concept of class. So if you have a business unit, you can look at it by class and obviously department. So if you're going to marketing, you can look at it by department. But SIMPL's permissions are pretty incredible. You can give people permission to see just their class. So maybe you have you know, a product owner for product one, you can give the product one owner access to SIMPL, but restrict it to just product one. And maybe you're also like, ooh, that product owner really shouldn't see people's salaries either. So you can give them, okay, product one, but no salary data. And they can come in here and see what they need to see without the salary data. That's really hard to do in Intact because you know, if someone has access to Intact, a lot of times they have access to any data you put in there. So if you put the salary data in there, that would be exposed. So at Consero, our GMs and our department leads all have access to SIMPL with the appropriate drill downs and restrictions that they need. The other place that I really like it is I actually have our private equity partners, they have full access in here. So they can come in here and they can see the close real time, right? You know, if you're a private equity backed company, a lot of times, maybe the financial call for the month is the last week, but you're getting pinged by a PE partner. Hey, how did you guys do last month? So, you know, for us, I think our call with BV, our private equity partner, isn't until next week sometime, but they've had access to our financials. And so when close was done and posted, they were able to come in here and look at it. So a lot of the reporting piece that I use, the class, the customer, the department, all of this reduces the amount of manual reports for me when I'm working with my customers, right? Which is the department leads, the exec team. The exec team has access to this and my PE partners. So all of that is in here for them to come in and look at. So this is where I spend most of my time. It's where I review my monthly financials as well. And sometimes if my monthly financials aren't done yet, I'll go to draft financial reports and I'll get the most recent period, right? I don't know. Oh, I don't think we have that in the demo. So if May wasn't closed yet, we've already closed May, but if May wasn't closed yet and posted, you could come in here and you could select May and you could see how we're doing so far. Like maybe I want to get a peek at how revenue is. So I could come in here, say pull May and sync the report and see where we're at. It's not your final financials, but at least you can look at it before it's posted without having to go to Intact, which I'm not a Intact super user, so I don't know how to use it. The other two things I look at a lot, which I really like, are the trended revenue details. So here's where you can see all of your customers and their revenue by month, right? And so, I really like to come in here and see how my revenue is trending. And then on the flip side, same thing on spended management, my trended vendor spend, to see how that's going, like in here, you can look at Hawthorne Plaza, whoever this is, like huge expense in April, down in May, what's going on? This is a place where I don't know what this vendor is, but maybe we can cut some costs there, or you can see what vendors are trending up or whatever. Those are really the places I spend most of my time. Yeah. I think that's it for me.
Thanks, Ashley. We did get one question from the audience for you. How do you use the reports and dashboards in SIMPL for when you have meetings like with the board, for example?
Sure. So the way I use SIMPL really with the board is providing them access to see their to see the financials early and often. They can come in here, they can see it anytime, so that I don't get pinged for ad hoc reports. So that's where I use it the most. And honestly, a lot of times I refer a PA partner to it. Like I've gotten questions in the board before, and they say, "Oh, Ashley, how's revenue with XYZ customer?" I said, "Well, you can see that in SIMPL." And so I direct them to it all the time because it makes my life easier in that way.
Great, thank you. And then Jeff, we have a couple questions that came in for you, so feel free to share your screen again if it makes sense too for the questions. But the first one is the dynamic landing page customizable for different user roles, for example, a CFO versus a clerk?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I guess the first part of that is it really begins with when we're going through onboarding or on an ongoing relationship basis. This is going to look totally different for different users. The demo environment that we have here is very much set up like an executive user where they have visibility into everything, just like Ashley's screen that she was sharing. But then, for example, if we had like one of the department heads or one of the product owners that she was mentioning where they might have limited visibility into financials, this is going to look totally different for them based on what data they should have visibility into. They like a department manager is likely not going to be able to see cash trends or anything like that. So they might see bills to approve, and then maybe they have visibility into accounts receivable aging if it's somebody that manages collections or customer invoicing. So that's one piece of it. And then on top of that, the dashboard is customizable. So when I'm looking at kind of the different widgets that we have here, one thing I can do is go top right corner to customize, and this will allow me to select which details I want to actually include. Like, for example, maybe we're a healthcare company and all of our billing is done through a separate system. If we don't have full invoicing available in SIMPL, maybe accounts receivable aging isn't as relevant to me because I'm going to go to that billing system that we're using. So I could disable accounts receivable details. And then on top of that, I can click and drag different widgets based on where I want to see them. So in this case, I like having my favorites top left so I can see to-dos and notices, and then any favorite details that I have. So for example, I can come back here and I know that I'm always going to customer revenue pretty frequently. I can go and add that as a favorite and then quickly jump to that report or whatever other feature it is.
Right. Another question, can users prioritize or snooze specific to-dos in the landing banner?
Great question. So yeah, short answer to that is no, but that's actually a great point. So it's something that I can definitely keep in mind in terms of future enhancement. Yeah, for example, if you have, like we're always going to call out the financial reporting here, but maybe you've already reviewed them for the month, so you could disable the notification there. Yeah, we don't have that functionality currently, but that's really, really insightful.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually goes along with this next question. What's the difference between the submit a request and urgent after hours support paths? How quick are response times typically? So you can maybe submit that request there, but
yeah. So I guess these are two just different ways to get in touch with your team. Like if you're submitting a request here, this is the equivalent of sending an email to your controller. So this could be like an accounting question. hey, I noticed something as I was reviewing Simple, or like I got feedback from a vendor, we need to go ahead and make an accrual for a specific month. Like you could add those details here. The urgent after hours request might be something along the lines of needing to change somebody's permissions in Simple, or hey, this is something that needs to get done today. So the submitter request is based on our contract terms that we're generally going to reply within 24 hours. An urgent after hours request is something that needs to be handled by the team today and will definitely get addressed same day. So that's, yeah, kind of the differentiation between those two. But either way, it's just different ways to get in touch with your team.
Great, thank you. Another one, are alerts customizable by urgency or role? Like if approvals or payments are stalled?
Yeah, so where we can do some customization there is if I click my name in the top right corner and go to profile settings, I can actually go to notification settings in my profile. And then this is where I can customize how I'm getting notified from different action items. So for example, if I don't necessarily need to find out every time a bill's been added to my queue for approval, I can disable that notification. But what this will do is send me a daily summary where I get an email first thing in the morning and say, hey, here's a list of all the bills that are available in your queue. And then maybe that's part of my day-to-day is I get the daily summary email, click the link in the email, and then come in and get my approvals done in Simple versus, hey, I actually prefer to get notified every time a bill is in my queue and then I can go and approve. Or same thing when it comes to actually processing payments on those or expense reports through Nexonia. And then these would be different things if I need to get notified that I need to update my credentials for any of our other applications. And then IFR notification settings would be getting notified for the different entities when our team has published financials at the end of the month. So you can enable or disable IFR notifications as well.
Awesome. And then this is the last question I'm seeing that's currently in. Can you see accounts payable as of a specific date?
Yeah, so if I go to spend management, bring up the AP aging, one feature, and this is relatively new, I think within the last like 6 months or so, this is always going to be as of when we refresh the data last, which is always going to be first thing in the morning or as of a specific date and time. So that's really what we're looking at here is as of the refresh first thing in the morning for AP, and this is getting updated on a real-time basis. If you needed to pull accounts payable as of a specific point in time, that's something you could request from the team. But I will say, I think we have it for accounts receivable aging. Accounts receivable I can do as of the prior month end or fiscal year end. So that's a possibility there. And then I think it's an option for cash as well. Yep. So I can run cash as of prior month end or fiscal year end. But in terms of kind of AP aging, all of that is getting refreshed on a real-time basis since we're bringing that data over from bill.com.
Awesome.